Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program, friends. We have a rather ambitious program. We have a lot to show you today, a lot of information that needs to be shared, but we also need to talk about something. You know, this is a folding stock gun, has a pistol grip, has the bayonet lug here. And you know what we are, friends? Let me take my hearing protection out so I can hear a little bit better. Just let me loosen it a little bit. What we see here is an example of mind control. You see, Dianne Feinstein, Ms. Boxer, Chucky Schumer, these others, and even now in New York, Governor Pataki, and we're hoping to find out more about this terrible gun law that's been enacted in New York. But you see, friends, this is a black gun. It's just a regular old pump shotgun with a folding stock. You can buy from the factory pistol grip shotguns, and we're going to be talking about that on future programs. But what we have is an example of mind control. You see, Ms. Feinstein and these others, the New World Order people, the globalists, don't want us to even think, don't even want us in the idea in our mind that we can have something that is military-esque. See, this AR-15 has been with us for all these years, but you see, the people of the New World Order, they don't want us to think we can even own. They want the anti-gun people, the non-gun people, to think that the black guns with the pistol grips, which are very handy, and we'll show a little bit later in the program today, we'll show an example, but the pistol grip adds controllability to the gun. It makes it a little bit nicer to control under certain circumstance. But they want us to think that this is a no-no because it is military-esque. They don't want us to even have the idea that we as the regular citizen can have things that are only designated for the powered elite, only for those that are acting in the name of authority. So they don't want us to have little things like flash hiders. Dianne Feinstein does not know a flash hider from a hubcap as far as function goes. Doesn't matter, because in her mind, this is military. And if the public, if the regular citizen has access to military guns, military type guns, guess what? Well, maybe the average citizen can stand against the military of the New World Order. Now, that's what they want. We can stand against the military of the dictatorship. That's what they're so afraid of. They want to remove this. It's kind of like Stalin burning the books, like Hitler burning the books. Stalin changed the names of cities, was going to try and erase the memories of people. Well, you know what they can't do, friends? They cannot erase our quest for freedom. They cannot erase the fact, at least not yet, don't think so, not with some of us, they can't erase the fact that the Minutemen, the militia, were the people who stood first against the British. The people who gave their lives, put the future of their families in jeopardy because they would accept nothing less than Patrick Henry's line of give me liberty or give me death. They would accept nothing less. You know, I was watching a news program this morning, and I'm not against sports. I'm for high school sports, even college sports, professional sports. What's it for? But I was listening at the interest that someone was talking about the arm of a quarterback at a college. They were talking about the condition of his arm. What difference does it make in the general scheme of history on whether this young man's arm feels better today than yesterday? Who cares when we have issues of liberty, issues of the very survival of our situation, the very survival of our country at stake? And we're so concerned about, oh no, women are concerned so much about what's the new color for fingernail polish this year. Oh my, will I be in style? What difference will that make in 100 years? What difference will it make in the future of us and our children? You see, we're obsessed with distraction. We're letting the road signs, the ads up and down the road, distract us from our destination, distract us from the road we're driving on. We've got to become focused. Right now you can go to the website of Neil Knox. I don't know if the NRA can be saved or not. If this proposal that Neil Knox is putting forth to change the board of the NRA, you can go to his website, neilknox.com, or firearmscoalition.com on your internet. You can download this petition. I don't know if the NRA can be saved or not. If Neil can't get 500 people to get this on the ballot, whereas the board members can come from the individual states only voted on by people in that state, this is a good idea. Please go to the website and check this out. This is, in my way of thinking, is the only way to save the National Rifle Association, or it will continue as the No Rifle Association. And at this point, the efforts of the NRA at the national level are pretty much irrelevant. You have organizations like Gun Owners of America that actually are doing their job. They're disseminating power. They're helping people in the states to get in gear. They're not a dictatorship. So I hope that enough people will care. Voting members, 5-year members of the NRA, you can sign this petition, or life members, others who are voting members of the NRA. All it takes is 500 petitions. Let's see if it can be done. I don't know. I don't know if it can be saved or not. I wish the NRA could be saved so it could get back to doing the work of us, the gun owners. But right now, I don't know. You see, friends, it's all a battle for men and women's minds. That's what it's about. They want to demonize long magazines. They want to demonize flash hiders. They want to demonize pistol grips. They want to demonize black guns, when it makes no difference at all in the function of the gun. That's not it. They want to erase the possibility from our mind that we can be equal to the military powers' delegated authority to rule over us. Well, I'm not buying it for a second. Most of you aren't. That's why we're here. Think about this, friends. You know, we've been struggling here for 10 years. This is our 10th year on the air. This is show number 438. Shooting show number 438. Just think if we would have had a shooting show that started in the 60s or 50s and talked about gun issues, we wouldn't be in the shape we're in, because if it was on national television, it reached a huge audience. It started back then, reached from one of the major networks. Guns would have been okay in our society if we had safety encouraged, if we had good judgment encouraged about firearms. We wouldn't have these problems today. But you see, the people who would disarm us, the people who would rule over us, this is not their first week on the job or first year. They've been at it for decades and decades. Think about the good we could have done 25, 30, 40 years ago if we had had our shooting show on the air and reached enough people. Well, what's done in the past is done. It didn't happen. That's why we're here today. We've got to reach more people on TV. This is the most powerful entertainment and educational medium that's ever been devised. We've got to do it on television, and we can. We need your help. If you can help us stay on the air, help us get our uplink and our network running, if you can help us, please do, friends. Please do. We need your help. You can send whatever to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dublin, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. We have a great show for you today, but these are points that must be made. It's all about the battles for the hearts and minds of you and I and the other men and women in America. I'm not a global citizen. I'm an American. I'm not a citizen of the earth. I'm an American. We have to point that out to some others. Well, let's see. The other day, someone was questioning me about these pistol grip shotguns, and yes, we're working on this. We have some things we're going to be showing you soon. But let's just see if we can. Let's take a slug here. Put my hearing protection in. Let's begin another shooting show. And let's see how this pistol grip can, on this shotgun, let's see if we can hit anything with it using or utilizing just the pistol grip. Let's see. Well, looks almost like a 460, doesn't it?
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new Georgia Arms catalog. It is out now, and on the cover we have a memorial to Jim Clark Sr., certainly a great friend of ours, a great friend of the folks there at Georgia Arms. We really appreciate their consideration, but people need to know about wonderful personalities like Jim Clark Sr., and certainly we do miss him. The new catalog is out, and it is exciting. Let's take a closer look. Friends, looking inside, we of course see these great bargains at quantities of ammunition, and yes, we see the shooting show. We also see our pistol kits on sale, and we're up to 3 loads now for the 460 Rowland. So all kinds of great ammunition here in this Georgia Arms. In fact, here we are, yes indeed. Many other calibers available though. 45 auto rim, you don't see that everywhere. I tell you what, 41 Magnum, 454 Casull, they will even sell you components for your loading bench. Just a terrific company. Remember, friends, they have been supporting our project for all these years, and we really appreciate their participation. You can call Georgia Arms at 1-800-624-6861. Get a free catalog, and please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our program. Friends, we're going to look at a gun that a lot of you have, and this is the SKS. This is the Simonov design, which preceded the AK-47, because the AK-47, of course, 47 in 1947. But the Simonov was a real good design. In fact, my own feeling is it's actually a more distinct, better design than the AK-47, but it was more expensive to make. It has more machine parts. It is an interesting development from the Russians, and realize that the Russians lived in a very harsh environment. As a battle rifle, they had taken note of the cartridge design, the mid-range cartridge designed by the Germans in World War II, and they were most impressed with that. And they were looking for guns that would be very functional under the most adverse conditions. Realize you have snow, very low temperatures there in the Soviet Union, and they were equipping their army and others with a gun that they wanted to be serviceable, reliable, fairly accurate in the hands of people that did not grow up shooting guns. Realize that when you got in the Russian military, you probably had not had guns at home, because they didn't allow their citizens to be armed. So the SKS, or the Simonov design, is very basic, straightforward. It has a 10-round fixed magazine. Excuse me. A little dusty out here on the range today. Anyway, it is a robust and very strong design. Like I said, I really think that the reason this particular design was not carried forth into the box magazine, because some of them came in this country with box magazines, they were more expensive to make. The AK-47 is more stamped parts. You have a lot of machine parts in the SKS, and honestly, I like the SKS, tell you the truth, better than the AK-47. I like the way the action is made better. The AKs are certainly very serviceable guns. They've proven themselves very well, but I think that the SKS is somewhat underrated. Large numbers of these guns came into the United States in the 80s, and I don't know when, it was President Bush that actually stopped the importation of these types of guns from China for a while, the AKs and all, after the Patrick Purdy incident out in California, where you had a lunatic shot some little kids. Well, unfortunately, he didn't stop the lunatics. He just stopped a lot of us from having very affordable guns. The least expensive I ever saw these things in the United States, they were used $59. And you talk about a bargain for a pretty darn good semi-automatic rifle. Realize that the 7.62 by 39 is a good cartridge. It's a little bit less powerful than a 30-30, but it's also a good deer cartridge. Besides the military type ammo, and the military type stuff is good for plinking. It's good for target practice, but it's not good for, say, something like home defense, because it has far too much penetration. But they make hollow point loads. Georgia Arms has some, in fact, has some hunting loads for the SKS and the AK-47. It's a good cartridge. To give you a refresher course on how these things work, realize we're talking about a a closed magazine or a non-detachable magazine. So let's see if we can come in a little bit closer and just watch how this works. They came with a stripper clip with ammo, and remember, this is not a magazine, this is a clip. And it went in a slot right here in the top of the gun, and you just press down, it would load the magazine. Well, the only thing about the SKSs, realize that these guns came from China, and I guess the Russian guns were made the same way. They were made for people of smaller stature, as us as the average American. Now, someone who is my particular size realize the stock is much too short for me. I have to, when I put it comfortably on my shoulder, I'm way up here. So it's not practical for me. I need a stock extension. And also something else we'll pass on to you. We picked up some information a while back, and we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. There's some chance that some of these guns have chips, digital chips that are traceable, or via the GPS satellites or some other mechanism, they may have a computer chip or an identification chip in some of these, whereas they can, in other words, if the government wants to know where these things are, they can find them if they have a chip in the stock. I cannot prove this, but due to the actions of our government for a long time now, I would not put it past them. Well, there's a real good option, one reason I talk about this is the basic old SKS stock is pretty cheap. These are not, shall we say, very refined guns, and the stocks were pretty much made of soft wood. Any sort of humidity or anything else is going to change how these stocks perform. And there's always that chance that you may have a gun with a traceable chip in it in the stock. So Choate Machining 2 has come to the rescue. Also, the bayonets on the SKS, you know what they were good for? They were good. You could undo the bayonet, and literally you could stick it in the ground in the field and adjust your hunting bag. It was just a handy thing. It was like an extra holder for the gun. I've never heard of anyone being stabbed or bayoneted in modern times. Like I said, the last bayoneting we're aware of was the Indians, the U.S. cavalry bayoneting Indians back in the 1800s. Also, want to remind you, you can still get the executive letter opener and the executive eye scraper, the multi-purpose tools from Choate Machining 2, only $2 for either one, a $5 value for one. You can get either one, both of them for $4 when you order a catalog from Choate Machining 2. Very handy implements here. But I'll show you something. Choate makes a replacement stock for the SKS guns that is much stronger than the wooden stock, and it has the proper length. And let's see if I can show this. We have two identical SKSs, and we've got a good inch or so in extra stock length here, which really does make them a lot nicer, makes them a lot nicer to shoot. And of course there are scope mounts and other things, but you'd be surprised at the accuracy level these things have. We were shooting it, and I think we have some tape footage. We were running some target practice with it last night, and let's show you that now.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The anti-self-defense crowd has been finding innovative ways to impose unconstitutional gun control laws without bothering with the legislative process. The recent agreement between the Clinton administration and Smith & Wesson has gotten the most attention because it affects all firearms sold by any Smith & Wesson dealer. But Massachusetts has shown the wisdom of the federal law preventing the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission from regulating firearms. It was the equivalent of that commission that decided to ban the sale of most handguns in Massachusetts. It was done in the name of safety. Then Attorney General Scott Harshberger usurped some non-legislative powers to regulate the safety of handguns as an ordinary consumer product. 34 other states have passed legislation allowing officials to regulate handguns as they would other consumer products. But in Massachusetts, one official, acting on his own, wrote rules putting guns under the consumer product regulations of the state. Interestingly, the rules were not enforced until after the spontaneous outpouring of disgust at the recent Clinton and Wesson conflict. That enforcement came on April 3rd of this year when the current Massachusetts Attorney General, Thomas Riley, decided to drop the hammer. The Attorney General required all dealers to handle all their firearms the same way, namely, only guns that have the safety technology of Smith & Wesson's latest guns can be sold, and only Smith has such handguns. This becomes a powerful financial tool in the hands of the government officials that have been trying to extort the entire firearms industry. While they claim an antitrust conspiracy on the part of other manufacturers, truth be told, the attorneys general have been threatening financially debilitating lawsuits if the manufacturers do not capitulate to their gun control agenda. Massachusetts has become a lead collaborator in the effort to use public power to control a constitutionally protected industry. Massachusetts has gone one step beyond threatening a lawsuit if the firearms manufacturers do not buy into the gun control agenda of certain elected officials. Since Smith & Wesson capitulated in Massachusetts, they have been given a government-imposed monopoly of handgun sales. Isn't it great to live in a free country? From Washington, this is Larry Pratt.
For information on Gun Owners of America, you can call them at 888-886-GUNS. Free phone call, 888-886-4867.
Now, friends, the groups we got were under 3 inches with these somewhat crude sights at 100 yards. Well, heck, that's as good as some of the very best 94 Winchesters will do with open sights. With a scope, certainly, where we could aim a little more precisely, would get our groups down some. With the choke stock, and it's very easily installed, it has instructions, and realize that there were a number of different countries, a number of different factories that built these guns inside the communist sphere of influence. And the choke people give you some adjustable parts, or they tell you how to adjust for your particular action. But they pretty much all work the same. Again, we'll put our clip here in place, and what you do, get it in place, and then you press down like so. Takes a little bit of practice, and there we have 10 rounds loaded. And of course, here is our clip. You need to save these because they're reusable indefinitely. And all you have to do, of course, load the gun, is just pull the bolt back, and let's take a shot with it. Here we go. Push our safety off. Here we go. Very light recoil, this gas action, plus the stock takes up some of the recoil. Very easy to shoot well. Younger people, a lot of women, certainly this is a 150-yard or so deer gun, but they are just as handy as can be. And this stock is very inexpensive. And also, let's go ahead and empty it. Now there. This stock is going to draw a lot less attention in the deer woods or with the game warden, and you can get 5-round blocks for the magazine, so you can only have 5 rounds. Many times if you're hunting, you can only have 5 rounds in the magazine anyway. And this is a real option from Choate Machining Tool.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Now, friends, if you're a gun owner, you need to have one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. They make a complete line of accessories, all sorts of neat stuff. You can call them 1-800-972-6390. Remember, the offer's still going with the executive letter opener and the executive eye scraper, only $2 a piece for your choice. So give them a call today, 800-972-6390, and please tell them you saw it on our show. We want to remind you a broadcast copy of our shooting shows are archived at Jim's House of Videos, area 318-869-0439, or on the internet at www.jimshouseofvideos.com. And now for our support group, we have Custom Leather Work in Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Their number 225-667-9225. And Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Their number is area 505-888-2929. For your grass or GRA shooting scenarios, call Dennis Crocker in South Carolina, area 864-587-8722. To have your gun stock painted, call Camouflage Technologies, area 909-674-6488. And for heavy equipment rental in Southern California, call Gearlings Equipment Rental, area 909-354-6476.
And a lot of recoil. Wouldn't it be nice to have the same power level in the slim and compact and lightweight 1911 style gun? Same power level, not nearly as much or recoil. You can have it with our pistol kit. Here's the 45 Auto on a water bottle target. Now let's shoot the other target with the same gun fitted with our 460 Rowland pistol kit. Or how about the power of this lever action rifle in a lightweight, handy semi-automatic carbine?